Ammo is crazy expensive and hard to find, and dry fire is life. I use the Mantis X10 to keep my handgun skills strong, and it makes dry practice fun and challenging. Check it out at the link below.
Greetings and salutations. Brian Hill with the Complete Combatant. This is your Active Self-Protection Extra Mantis Dry Fire Mondays. Boy, what a mouthful that is. This is part 2 of a 3-part series where each part stands by itself, but in order to complete the process, you have to do all 3 training modalities when you're training. Today we're going to talk about what is termed in the shooting world accuracy. In jiu-jitsu, we call it a technical session where we're trying to be as exact as we can, as effective as we can. I'd like to add another term to it. It's accuracy and precision. Accuracy is being able to hit the target. Precision is the repeatability relative to each round fired. So how close they are. So you simply can be very accurate and hit the whole target, but the rounds are spread out immensely. So you're accurate but not precise. You can be really precise and put them all in a small group, but you aren't accurate. What we want to do is have both, because it shows that what we're doing will happen each time that we do it. It's really important. What I ask everybody in my class is, your gun zeroed and are you zeroed? It's just as important for you to zero yourself as it is to zero the gun. And what we got to do is get back into the fundamentals of shooting accurately. I usually teach accuracy in the first part of my class because I have a couple of rules of shooting when you start. First, you need to be safe, then you need to be able to hit the target, and then you need to become efficient. And there's really no stopping one until the other. Get safe first, learn to hit the target, and then be able to do it with the fewest amount of inputs in the shortest amount of time. Okay. There's no time standard in accuracy practice, so the time doesn't matter. So listen to what I'm saying closely here. Taking a lot of time won't make you more accurate, and taking a short amount of time won't make you more accurate. Making a good decision will make you more accurate. When you're focused upon what you need to and you see everything lined up, there's nothing else to do except press the trigger. If you tend to be impatient by nature, you'll do that too soon. If you tend to be indecisive, you'll do it too late. And whatever you do at that point, you'll wreck it. So what we need to do is be able to shoot as precisely as we can and as accurately as we can, and not worry about the time signature. The more engaged you are in this process, the less time will have meaning to you, and you won't be able to feel it as much. Got to recreate each time the proper alignment. All right. For some of you shooting iron sights, and it's a harder way to do it because you have 3 focal planes. All right. For you guys shooting the red dot, you only have 1 focal plane, and it's focus upon the target. Now, the first group we're going to shoot is at 3 yards. So whether you're an iron sight shooter or you're a red dot shooter, you should be focused on the target. If you focus precisely on the target, the rounds will go right where you're looking. If you look at the sight and track it around, you will circle the target and move all around it. It's a really important distinction. I'm not going to be shooting fast shots one after another. I'm just going to shoot 3 of the best possible shots that I could, unless I have what I would call a bad shot. If I see a bad shot or I didn't do something correctly, I'll fire another one. We say in the precision game that 3 is a test of the gun and 5 is a test of the shooter. I've kind of knocked this down to 3 because if you need to take another shot or 2 to make sure, it's fantastic for you. All right. Remember, shooting is a cycle. So we're already going to have the gun out, so there's no draw stroke. We've already built our grip. We have a great stance and posture already. So all we have to do is to just basically look at it, see the sights, and press the trigger to the rear. Let the trigger go, don't pin it to the rear, and recycle and get ready to shoot it again and get 3 good shots. Okay? I'm going to do this at 3 different distances. I zero everybody at 3 yards. That means I don't put your zero at 3 yards. I just make sure you're on paper. Whether you have a rifle or a pistol, the most important thing is to see where you're shooting right now and how that works. Then we go to a 10-yard zero, which is my zero I teach in class for red dot optics, because I found most people can't shoot a 25-yard zero. It's freestyle. So we can get a good 10-yard zero. I'm going to say something that you need to listen to closely, and it may be a little heretical on my side. Your zero distance doesn't matter. Your understanding of how it works is what matters. All right. What is the difference in holdovers? Your bad habits are probably much worse than the offset from your zero. Remember, the zero is sitting on top of the barrel. Whether it's on iron sights, it's sitting on top of the barrel. It's a little bit higher with a red dot, so there'll be a little bit of holdover on each position. But your bad habits are probably significantly bigger than that. I had a client say to me yesterday, he's like, man, I shoot really well at 4 yards, but at 20 yards, I don't shoot well. And I said, I totally disagree with you. You're always 2 inches low at 4 yards. So if we take it out 4 times the space, then we should see you missing by 8 inches, which is exactly what happened. So he missed by 8 inches because it's 4 times the distance. So 2, 2, 2, 2, and it's a power. So we want to make sure that we know where to shoot. Now I'm going to shoot the 3 yard on that little circle there with the number 1. So with my 10-yard zero, I'm just going to hold the red dot at the top of the zero. Okay, and I'm going to look really precisely at the target and then fire the rounds. All right, 3 rounds on this. And I know my zero is really good because I've refined it and I always check it. So if I were to shoot anything else after those 3 rounds, I know my gun is fairly well zeroed. But I want to check it at 10 yards, see if there's any deviation with it. All right, so I've painted a piece of steel with a big green circle in the middle of it. When I say big, it's about 1 inch or so. I'm going to aim for the center of that and really look at the circle and then fire 3 rounds and see if they impact in the same area. Now, there was this circle's probably about this big at 3 yards, so I'd expect the circle to be about that big at 10 yards because it's 3 times the distance. Let's see if that works out. So yeah, I got a little high, so I went back to the 3. It looks like I've got a good zero. Now, you notice I'm not going fast, but I'm not necessarily going slow. The target's telling me how quickly and precisely I can shoot. My accuracy's been good, my precision's been good. Now, down at the end of the range is a piece of alpha steel, all right? And that would be from a PSA cardboard target, same size as that is. Look, I brought one for you, and it goes about this. So this would be pretty good accuracy for me. Now, as a tactical shooter, I'd probably take a third off of this because it's a little long, but this will give me good accuracy hits. I'm going to change my rounds right now too because I use Federal HSTs, and what happens is I practice a lot, so every day I'm racking that round in and out of the chamber, in and out of the barrel. So you get some setback, and I don't like to carry that. The primer can shake apart and not work anymore. So I do that for a week, and then I set it aside and I put a new round in each time. So I've got 3 of these very precious 124 HSTs. There won't be any difference in my shooting style or anything like that. These are incredibly accurate rounds. I really like the way they shoot. So we saw the spread at 10 yards. We went from this at 3 to this at 10. Now we're 2.5 times the distance. So I'm going to expect something about like that. All right, if I see that, I know I'm pretty well zeroed. Let's see if that works out. Those are all in the A zone, dead in the center of the A zone. So at about a 25-yard shot, I'm well zeroed. So I've got a good zero. It's working for me. I understand that. The difference in the zero is I have to aim slightly high at 3 yards and I have to aim slightly low at 25 yards. You can see my rounds are just up there where the hanger is. All right, that's the bit of the offset coming into it. And I didn't rush or hurry. I just simply let my mind settle and tried to be as mindful as possible, stay present, and then all there is to see the target relative to the sights and gently press that trigger to the rear without adding anything to it. So make sure that you can just lightly press the trigger. What I see with a lot of people is they try to say now and they push the trigger down. So I've really moved into accuracy mode. Now, some of us love accuracy mode because our reward is never missing. That's what we'll tell people. Well, I never miss. It's very common in IDPA. I shot down 0. I've actually shot a match down 0 twice. One time I won, one time I didn't. The difference between the two was being down 0 was also being very slow. The other one was being in the moment, and I shot at the speed of sight. So I was very fortunate to shoot a down 0, but it was not my goal. So think about that as you work through it. When you're using your Mantis, if you put it on there during live fire, it'll also track your decisional process and your aiming process. So you'll see that graph moving around there, and you can see how you're making a decision of how to aim. And it's going to show you exactly what you're going to do. If you move that gun down, it's going to become apparent to you. If that helps you, that's fantastic. It's a great way to work that graph instead of the score. Scores are fine, but we want to see what's happening in the decisional process and how you make a good decision and how you become more accurate. Now, just like speed mode, I don't want to leave the range in accuracy mode, because my speech about the match shooting down 0 was I was shooting really slow. It's a very interesting thing in the shooting world, is that people believe they can choose either accuracy or speed, and you can't. Whatever you don't choose, your opponent will. That's how it works. All right. So you need to be accurate and fast and efficient. So be accurate and efficient at the same time. That's what we call performance mode. Now there's some juggling between those two. As you develop speed mode, the accuracy falls off a little bit, so then we have to go back and train it. And as we get super accurate, then efficiency falls off and we have to train that back up. So we're always working this way until we get to that peak decisional process of what the best decision is according to the size of the target. All right. Work on this. You guys are going to see a big difference. You can shoot accurately. You just need to stand still and look deeply at the target, not think about what's about to happen or what's going to happen. Believe it or not, it's rather stressful to shoot in front of the camera, all right, because it's going to be right here. But what I did is I forgot about you guys and I shot what I was seeing. I looked as deeply as I could, and therefore it allows me to make good shots. Part of my self-image is I know I'm incredibly accurate, so I never expect to miss. And when I do, I recognize the poor sensation in the decision. I was either impatient or indecisive, so I fix that right away, next shot. So it doesn't surprise me to go right back to accuracy. Tim Herron said something I thought was really important. He said, you know, even if you're a grandmaster, you're rated at 95% of the overall score, that means 5 out of every 100 shots are not very good. All right. And if you're rated at 80% of the total score, that means 20 out of 100 aren't very good. So start looking at what your potential is to hit. Perfection eludes us human beings, but we should always strive for it, because that's going to make us better. All right. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for Active Self-Protection Extra. Support your Mantis. It's a great tool for this. It's going to give you a good graph. And I'm Brian Hill with a Complete Combatant. And remember, measure, refine, and perform.